Kips clip.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Kips clips.
Alrighty, BoobTubes, another one of Kips Clips. A mic check. Welcome to not the Infowars Nightly News, the only Infowars Nightly News that's allowed officially on YouTube. Go figure. I'm more officially Infowars on YouTube than Alex Jones is. It's official. The original, the OG baby, alternative look at the so-called alternative media. Skeptical, with the spectacles, even though sunglasses, about the so-called skeptics, and watching the so-called motherfucking Watchmen. Because somebody's got it. Watchmen, get it? Boom, boom, boom. I'll crack the jokes. So hopefully yous are all well, and my computer's back and functioning. So I'm going to do the usual Tuesday shindig. A wee kinda kaleidoscope of the craziness of the BoobTubes predominantly. Sometimes different fucking angles, but predominantly the BoobTubes, because it is such a dominant media on the tinterwebs, and no doubt. So in the evening, one and all, Richie, hopefully you're well, my man. Punk on the whiskey, how you doing? Hopefully you're keeping well. K9, alright my man. Age of a Crackadilla was in earlier, and Miss Spank. And Buffalo Hillbilly. Appears to be a friend, a space Jew. But anyway, in the evening, hopefully you're all well. So, let's have a wee shifty. What's on the cards tonight? Stick that in the pot as well. Okay, so there we go, that works. I'm not right wing, honest, like all these independent journalists who say they're independent when they're really definitely right of centre. Some would say far right, and they're pretending to be independent to further their cause. Tiny Tommy on Twitter. So Elon Musk is taking over the tweeters. He says it's going to be a bastion of freedom of speech. So that seems to be like a red rag to a bull for all the idiots that were flung off Twitter. Predominantly because of the media I digest for the right wing, but you'll get the fandans for the left as well, obviously. Now bouncing back on the Twitter bandwagon. And time will tell how this new Twitter actually pans out. Whether it's going to be the bastion of freedom of speech that it claims to be, or it's going to be just the polar opposite of what it is just now. Some would say it's a left-wing echo chamber just now, or it's allowed left-wing echoes are allowed on Twitter, whereas the right-wing ones aren't. let's see if that just flips. Let's see. Ukraine. We'll have a wee look at what's happening in Ukraine. It looks like it's going to turn into a war of attrition for a good few months. And I done a wee news shindig today, and when they were talking about this steel factory that's under barrage just now, they kept saying the Azov steel factory, and I could have swore it rang a bell, and the reason it did ring a bell was because the Azov is where that area, Mariupol, which is a very strategically important port. That's where the Azov Brigade is from. That's the neo-Nazi brigade that's been incorporated within the National Guard in Ukraine. And apparently 2 reports of boots on the ground, which I shall show you, that apparently seems to be the people or the armed forces that are holed up in this factory. And the reason they're held up in this factory is the Nazis actually used this during World War II. I know it's mental, isn't it? The Nazis used this factory as their base of operations when they occupied that area during World War II. And the reason the Nazis used it is because the factory itself has lots of underground bunkers, which I say obviously, but apparently appear to be impenetrable by most normal armaments. I've been taking lessons for Biden. So we'll have a wee look at what's coming out of Ukraine. Kovnot. We'll have a wee look at the COVID shit, or what's happening with COVID now. But who would have thought funked it? Like, all we needed to cure a war was all we needed to cure a pandemic was a war. We should have fucking Ukraine and Russia should have started killing each other fucking ages ago. This would have sped up the recovery for COVID like that. Abortion. There's shit happening in America. In my opinion, it's based around states' rights and handing states' rights back. And one of those rights for the states would be to govern abortion as they see fit, rather than having a centralised dictate coming from Washington. That's the way I read this debate, but others read it as they're making abortion illegal, and that hasn't happened. Nobody's talking about it happening. In fact, it's America. Probably there is people talking about it happening. I'm not privy to people talking about it happening. It's not on the cards. There might be changes around rules and regulations and all sort of times and stuff like that. But again, this is based around, in my opinion, states' rights. It just so happens that the states' rights argument is getting brought up in and around abortion because it's such a polarizing debate, and depending where you go in America, you can find completely polar opposite views. And due to that fact, it would make sense to allow states to govern it as they see fit due to their population, because it's democracy, and surely the majority of the state, the majority of the locals should be able to have some sort of an input and say into the rules, laws, legislation in and around abortion, rather than it coming from a central dictate from a state that might be completely on a different page for the state that you're from in America. And I don't know that much about America, but what I do know is the states are very varied, and you'll find different opinions. in very many other states. So have a wee look at that. And China, just a wee quick clip coming out of the Chinese TV. It's about Tibet. Touch on some of the SMP shit that I'm living under, the SMP dictatorship that I'm living under, and we'll have the SMP brown shirts out at the polling booths come this Thursday, laughing and mocking and just having a presence, you know, making sure that nobody but apart from the SMPs there, you know, putting farted in the lift. So I don't know, it's coming out in the Western press that Putin's got cancer. Such a opportune time for him to catch the cancer bug, isn't it? So God only knows if it's real or fake. Then I've got a couple of, what do you call them, wild cards, but basically I've just not put them in a folder. But nevertheless, Farage, Nigel Farage, because he's got his own TV station now. Some indigenous people getting ran off their land for a copper mine. So we look at the Aborigines, which is such a funny name to call them, of Australia. We look at the Native Americans in America and think this is a thing of a bygone era. When it's not. And I don't know how much it is or isn't happening in the Amazon, but in the Amazon there's still some tribes that haven't actually had contact with the West. They're just living in the middle of nowhere and no cunt's actually really contacted them or had any sort of interaction with them. And you better believe when resources are found right underneath their land, they'll be getting kicked off. Getting told that, why don't you come on out the cold? Why don't you try some Nikes? Here's some Nikes. Why don't you try some school? Oh, yabba dabba dabba do 7, man, he's still doing it. He's still fucking knocking them out the park. Woo! Just absolute bundles of bullshit, unproven for fucking websites built out of people's arseholes. But hey, just report it with authority and as if it's true, and it'll get people's jaws on the ground and it'll get people clicking. Me included, by the way. So that's what's on the cards. So, firstly, hello to everybody in the chat. There's the Luton Lion. You love Nigel. Surprise, surprise. Don't barrage the Farage. Vote Trump, not a Sturgeon. What kind of fucking logic's that, mate? In what election do you have the choice of Sturgeon or Trump? And up here, you don't really vote for Sturgeon, you vote for the party. And all that chat. All that jazz. I'm being pedantic, and we're in a SMP dictatorship up here, mate. We're fucked. You love Trump, Tommy. I am a friend of Space Stew. Thank you for noticing. So right, Buffalo Hillbilly. Klaus Schwab. Reality is the Great Reset. Hair looks badass. Mate, I get told it looks fucking like Hitler's hair the other night. Granted, the woman was kinda arguing with me because I thought guided meditation was a valid form of meditation, and meditation, to meditate you didn't have to just sit quietly in a field and go, I thought you could have fun with it, like guided meditation and shit. But I should still stick to my guns. But anyway, so we ended up arguing, and then she told me my hair was like Hitler's. It's like, thank you very much. You look like a dyke. I didn't actually say that, but that was in my head. Should I? That didn't move. Just had a notification that Russia launching a bioweapon attack. Must be they've been fucking launching bioweapon attacks and fucking all sorts. Wait till we get to Yabba Dabba Do 7. Fucking bullcrap. This guy's get fucking Russia launching Yabba Dabba Do 7's reporting on a secret launch by Russia. He doesn't get the irony that he's reporting on a secret launch by Russia. So Luton Lion is a troll. K9, I think he just loves Tommy Robinson. I think he's misunderstood. And he's just a Tommy Robinson lover. And he's here to see where the cocaine's at. Devon, how you doing? Some kind of meta humour going on in the chat, I hope. I think Luton Lion is Tommy Robinson, but it's his prerogative. I mean, like, Luton Lion, he's hardly hiding the fact. I bet she's got a I Love Tommy Robinson t-shirt. So, these people are allowed to exist. They may be misguided, and they may be unaware that Tommy Robinson's nothing more than a BNP puppet. Moulded to attract the gays and the lesbians and the browns and the blacks into the BNP. And that's my honest belief. But I also think Zionists are fake Jews. Ran by people, by fundamental Christians. So, I'm batshit crazy. I'm as crazy as my haircut would lead you to believe. And right. I think this is hilarious. This is I'm going to fuck up my haircut now, right? I've spent hours on it. I'm getting really bad fucking vibes with this stream for some reason. Hopefully the stream's going out okay. I think it is. But anyway, this is my new party trick. Only certain people will get this. Ain't getting no plane. Ain't getting no plane. I'm very easily amused, and I think my fucking own shit is funny, and I think that is funny. But anyway, OG, how you doing? Stuffer 2000, testing. 1, 2, 3. Are you getting on a plane? You getting on a plane? Stuffer, you done a test and then you deleted your test. So your test worked and the test of the delete worked as well. So test complete. Oh, no idea what happened to Danny Tomo, mate. No idea. I'm stabbing in the dark here, and I have nothing other than just a pure best. Obviously, I say obviously. Best guess, something legally caught up with him. That's why his channel would be gone, because there would have been some form of shit on there that would be incriminating, I would guess. And let's see if this works. Oh, it does. And if Tommy is distancing himself from him, it would be because both of them are getting raped legally, aren't they? If it's no civilly, it's legally. You know, you can legally rape people now. But they're both getting fucked. And the people that are going after them know what they're doing and are going after their bottom pockets. And the BNP aren't that rich and the money's fell out of YouTube. I mean, the pyramid scheme of the far right used to work beautifully. Used to get put into the circles, bigged up on the social medias. Lots of traffic would go to your YouTube. You would make a small fortune, and thus you'd get patted on the head for being a good boy, and propagating the message. And that's the way it operated. Method, Stuffer, Richie in the evening. Yep, my flat is on fire. It's my wee effigy to care of sacrificing babies earlier. Sorry, that's in my head because people fucking saying shit earlier, man, about fucking abortion. Can't I just have a normal debate about abortion as they go down the route of sacrificing babies? Alrighty, eh? Good day. Behind you, fire. This house is always on fire. The roof is on fire. No, mate, it's just my little burning effigy. Right. Weird that Danny's channel comes up as goodbye. What? See that again, Stuffer? What's the script? Danny's channel comes up as goodbye? I've not seen that shit. Danny does have nice hair, and Tommy too. They feel like take good care of their hair. Mate, Danny Tomo looks like he's been hit in the head with a fucking Thor's hammer. I proved that fucking scientifically using the power of .png files and a picture of Danny Tomo and the YouTubes. Proving it beyond a doubt. Right, guys, please stop fucking arguing, man. Why don't you just have a bit of banter with each other, man? Instead of supposedly hating each other because on the surface you both give a shit. Thor's hammer, I know, man, I know, mate. I can hardly talk now, man, but I don't think I've got Hitler haircut. See, I must have looked at fucking Hitler's body double pictures or some shit. I can't remember Hitler having shaved sides bits on his hair. And do you want to know what, by the way? I cut my hair myself, and I've never been happier with it. I know it looks fucking extreme and mental, but no one else has got a haircut like this. For obvious reasons. And I can cut it myself. So I've got nobody to be angry with when I go home and start getting all pretentious and gay over my hair. So it's a win-win-win-win-win-win. Oh, Danny Tomo and Tommy Robinson are fans of my clips. Fact. Came out of Danny Tomo's mouth, as you're saying, Richie. Me and Danny Tomo are like that. All he did was want to make a go light on his hair, stop slagging off his hair, and he would promote the channel. But I love the Thor hammer. I love the fact that he does look. His hair looks like he's been hit in the head with Thor's hammer far too much, and it obviously annoyed him to the extent where he fucking Skyped me. No, everybody loves me, man. What is there not to love? I mean, ask around. Everybody loves the Kips clips. Anyway, right, I'm going to definitely get to some clips I'm just actually enjoying. See, I don't think I look like Hitler either, mate. I would like to think a Viking or Mr. T. I'm going for a mixture between Mr. T and a hipster Viking. That was kind of the vibe I was going for when I was shaving my nut. Like one of the Aryan Brotherhoods. Fuck. That ain't the look I'm going for. Were the fucking Vikings part of the Aryan Brotherhood? They were predominantly white, but they did have actual slaves and shit for other parts of the world, believe it or not. I was recently back at the Old Govan Parish Church where they've got the Viking hogbacks. Oh, amazing. One of the guys there was dressed like a Viking. They've got hunters of Viking shit, man. I had a big helmet on and, oh man, in business. Oh man, do you know what, Punk? Do you know what, Punk? I did see that myself, man. That fucking crazy bad guy off of Fifth Element, because he had the fucking shaved side napper. Fuck. Kip loves no, mate. I love trumping. It's different. Kip looks like a white. How the fuck do I look like a white? The white supremacists look like want-to-be hipsters with fucking greying beards and fucking obvious DIY lockdown haircuts. I don't know. Maybe I need to go to one of their meetings. Punk, do you know what? I actually did fucking say that. But in my defence, that's before I shaved this bit. Because when I first done this kind of haircut, this fucking big floppy bit was like right down here. And because I can't really do the back very well, or I couldn't do the back very well, it was like a big massive fucking comb over fucking thing, man. It was looked alright for the front, but then when you looked at the back, it was just like. But now I think I've tapered it a wee bit. Anyway, man, it's a fucking Kip's Clips original cut. Can't say more than that. Right. Let's see what's on the cards. Oh, I've got a cracker to start with, actually. Oh, fuck, that's not it. That's it. I'm not a right wing honest. Okay, so as you may or may not know who Rupert Murdoch is, you may or may not know he hails from Australia. You may or may not know he owns Sky News, and you may or may not know this is Sky News Australia. And you may or may not know I'm going to press play, and they're going to destroy Biden hilariously.
With the leader of the free world, whose brain appeared to break again. He seemed to struggle when talking about all sorts of things, including what his administration was doing about Russia.
We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies. But these are bad guys. This legislative package strengthens.
Alan, come on, you try to tell me this is boring, mate? You wouldn't get this for Trump. What you get with Trump is these wee small hands going like that. Try to drink a bottle of water. Fucking the weirdest bottle drinker of water I've ever fucking seen in my life. But with Biden, you get fucking senile moments like this. It's fucking hilarious.
With our law enforcement capabilities.
And it didn't get any better when Biden tried to recite an important date.
Parenthetically, if you think about it, what was the reason why we led the world beginning around 1905, 6, and 7, and 8?
What is... No, look at this! Sky News Australia actually fucking cutting in cuts of Sesame Street to destroy Biden. Now, I love this shit. Biden's a senile old fuck, right? But Sky News dress themselves up as independent journalists, and they're not. They're playing the political. I'm pretty sure the Democrats and Republicans have got some sort of a vote coming up shortly. I think. I know here in the UK we've got one on Thursday. But I think America's got one. And this is obvious Biden bashing prior to the fucking prior to the election. Now, it's not that he didn't do this or he isn't a senile old prick, but if you're a news organisation and you're claiming to be independent and all you do is put out negative stories of Hillary Clinton and Biden and then come along and tell you how good Trump is, there's electioneering going on there. To anybody that isn't absolutely got blinkers on or ignorant as fuck.
The Sesame Street number of the day.
1905, 6, and 7, and 8.
One Biden's.
Sorry, that was too funny not to play. And things only got worse when Biden called the National Hockey League Commissioner, Gary Bettman, Batman.
This is beautiful, and he's calling people Batman!
Keep your eye on the hockey player behind Biden, who can't help but crack up laughing.
I want to thank Commissioner Gary Batman and for being here as well. And at the risk of stating the obvious here, it's a pretty good time to be in a sports fan.
Yes, that was back-to-back Stanley Cup champion Victor Hedman, who couldn't help but laugh at a president that has become an international joke.
Right, that was that's piss. That's fucking hilarious. Right, as well as laughing at the senile old president, also wanted to drip in the point that that's coming from Sky News Australia, who, if you ask the editor-in-chief, they would say they're independent. Oh, this is quite cool. But again, this is coming from independent journalists.
Bombshell new development from the Durham probe. We also have disturbing new video showing alleged Antifa rioting, attacking Republicans in Portland. By the way, police took forever to get there.
By the way,
the Biden administration is celebrating a looming food shortage that would force America's farmers to, quote, go green. Really? That's the next inflation? That's the next hike on gas? Now food prices aren't high enough? Anyway, we'll also weigh in on Joe's big weekend in Washington, D.C. By the way, my record is intact. In all the years I've been on radio, 35 years, 26 and a half years at Fox, I've never been to a single White House Correspondents' Dinner, and I did not break that record and show up this weekend, and I never will. I know they don't like me. I don't particularly like them, so let's not play games. Anyway, they did have some fun, good, at our expense. That's also good. And Saturday's White House Correspondents' Dinner will give you an update. Now, we want to introduce you to a not-so-bright MSDNC host who's having a really hard time with coping with Twitter's new ownership. Now, we go to one of their hosts. I don't really know this guy, Mehdi Hassan. His dangerous neo-Nazis are now poised to take over the country, all because Elon Musk bought Twitter. And Elon Musk is saying, stay on Twitter. All my critics, feel free to attack me because that's what free speech is all about. They're that upset? Take a look.
We are living through an unspeakably dangerous moment. The pro-QAnon, pro-neo-Nazi faction of the Republican Party is poised to expand dramatically come the midterms. We're just 2 years away from Donald Trump very possibly re-seizing executive power. If that happens, we may look back on this past week as a pivotal moment, when a petulant and not-so-bright billionaire casually bought one of the world's most influential messaging machines and just handed it to the far right.
Now, today, Elon Musk, he responded, tweeting out, quote, NBC is basically saying Republicans are Nazis. By the way, Elon, I don't know if you've ever watched the show or you're watching tonight. I
love you, Elon! Wanting to get an invite to Elon's secret underground Batman base.
Single day. Used
Bat
to be
cave,
every 2 years, every 4 years. Now it's pretty much every day.
base.
Republicans are racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, now transphobic.
Everybody knows it's
They
the
want
Bat
clean air and
cave.
water. They want grandma and grandpa only to eat dog and cat food, and then they want some prominent Republican lookalike to take granny and grandpa in a wheelchair and throw them over a cliff. Welcome to my world. Welcome to the world of conservatism. This is the same organization that covered up the Hunter Biden laptop, he goes on, and had the Harvey Weinstein story early, and they killed it, and they built Matt Lauer, he wrote, his rape office. Woof. I think he's talking about that.
So if anybody was ignorant to the fact that social media platforms are so powerful at controlling the discussion and the narrative, that they've now been politicised, here is Exhibit A. I mean, it was already kind of self-evident to a lot of people with the jiggery-pokery going on in and around social media and the way it operated. But it's balls out now with Elon, and then the left getting upset with Elon buying it and shit like that. I mean, does anybody remember the good old days of the Facebook wall when you posted shit and it was a big timeline? A big massive timeline. Unedited, whatever you wanted, boom, there it is. Come and look what I put on my wall. Or the days of, was it Bebop Baluba? Bebo? Bebop Baluba Bebo was my baby. The social media that doesn't drive you crazy. I think actually Facebook bought that, to be honest, if I remember right. So, anybody bring back something like that? No. Anyway, let's get back to Hannity.
Lock thing that had been reported. I don't know if that was ever verified.
Is Fox News no Murdoch as well?
He writes. Anyway,
pretty sure he is, isn't it?
This is the same network that brings you Joy Reid, conspiracy theorist of all time, Rachel Maddow, and until recently, Lion Brian Williams. You know, the guy that saw dead bodies floating during Katrina in front of
Lion.
Needless to say, NBC News doesn't exactly value truth. Neither does fake news, CNN for that matter. Both organizations are only propaganda arms for the DNC.
What do you mean,
they peddle lies, conspiracy theories, always to advance the socialist agenda, hate on conservative, everything conservative, and Trump and all Trump supporters. And on Sunday, one CNN guest called for the federal government to step in, regulate discourse on Twitter before it's too late. Take a look.
Musk doesn't want it. You know, he's upset with the SEC, tried to... How dare they question him? You know what I'm saying? This is dangerous. We can't think anymore in this country. I wonder if they've kept all that data. No, I'm serious. We don't have people in Congress who can make regulations that can make it work. I think we can look to the Western countries in Europe for how they are trying to limit it. But you need controls on this. You need regulation.
So as soon as Elon Musk gets anywhere near Twitter, they're all calling for all this shit. Whereas before, when it was like Google and all that, it was all good for them to just make it up as they go along.
Cannot let these guys control discourse in this country, or we are headed to hell.
But we can allow you guys to control it. Surely, like, if, like at least Elon, well, I don't know, at least Elon Musk's a wee bit balls out. I mean, it's not too hard to figure out that he sucks Trump's cock. Regardless of how disgusting you find that or not. At least he's balls out and he's no bouncing about going, I just like unicorns and fairies. But, hey ho. Where's my moose? Loose about this hoose?
We are there. Trump opened the gates of hell and now they're chasing us down.
Musk is
people when
Iron Man.
Trump, conservatives banned, suspended, canceled, shadow banned. You know, this is the common theme on the left. It's called hypocrisy. Unlike many of my so-called competitors, I've never called for any show or any host or any guest to be canceled or boycotted or censored. I believe in free speech. And if you don't like what they say, I hope you tune them out. Most Americans already are.
I believe in the ability to call them wankers live on air.
Trusted. Only big mother government knows right from wrong. For example, while MSDNC and fake news, CNN, freak out about Elon Musk and free speech on Twitter, all of a sudden, they ignored it all this time. They're all but applauding the Homeland Security Secretary in his announcement or pronouncement of a creepy new disinformation governance board, or as we call it on this show, the Socialist Democrats' Minister of Leftist Truth. Watch this.
Here in the U.S., there's been an uproar in recent days about the Department of Homeland Security setting up what they call a disinformation governance board. This has been mostly a Fox World story.
Why has he got a woman's voice?
But I don't think people know what it is and what it isn't. And there's just been a lot
just me? Who the fuck is
uproar without knowing what it is. So,
now, keep in mind the DHS, they were founded after 9/11. We lost nearly 3,000 of our fellow Americans.
Got a woman's voice.
Designed to prevent another 9/11, another attack on the homeland. But under Secretary Mayorkas, the department has now turned their focus inward, a complete dereliction of duty, a complete retreat from a post-9/11 world and policies to keep every American and this country safe from terrorists.
So much for these free speech stuff, if you've already been blocked.
41, we don't even know. How many people might have snuck in that we don't know about? And according to Mayorkas, disinformation and climate change...
Joe Rogan can't be cancelled because there's a very large financial incentive to stick him on any platform that's going. And there's enough out there.
This great country are,
I mean, Spotify paid him... Is it Spotify he went to? I think it is. Spotify paid him the money that they paid him because they are hoping that him coming over to that platform will bring others.
Education. And counter to this grave threat, Mayorkas announced the new Ministry of Truth to be led by a far-left lunatic who ironically spreads a ton of disinformation all the time. For example, in April 2020, Nina Jankowicz referred to...
See, right, you know it's politics and you know which side somebody's on when they're standing there and just pointing at the folks and all the scumbaggery on one side or the other, without pointing at the fact that if you wanted to, you could equally find idiots on the fucking right side of politics, the Republican Party, that have probably done equally as bad a shit, if not worse. And then the whole he says it, I says it, you says it, he says it, I says it, he says it, she says it, I says it, I says it, you says it. My daddy's bigger than your daddy. No, my daddy's bigger than your daddy. No, my daddy's bigger than your daddy. My daddy's going to batter your daddy. My daddy's going to batter your daddy. And that's politics. And that's what all these idiots do. That's what they get paid to do. That's, if you're good at politics, that's what you're good at doing. Being a small child and arguing bullshit fucking relentlessly until the other side giving in. It's like a verbal game of stare. Who blinks first? Oh. Toe Rogan. He looks like a big toe in a flip-flop. I saw these fucking all the juices taken.
The COVID-19 lab leak theory is a baseless rumor spread by Trump supporters. False. Chinese state-run media frequently cited her fictitious claims, using them in their own disinformation campaign. And Jankowicz also spread misinformation playing down the Hunter Biden.
Right, so again, they're getting into who lied the most. You get the idea. Now, let's go and have a wee look at what's happening on the Twitters. Tiny Tommy. Going back to the Twitters. That's the cocaine party. Woo! Twitter's back on! Yeah! Woo! Yeah, baby! Get the gear out! Twitter's on! You can see Tommy's very, 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 very happy man. Very happy man. Very happy man. He's rolling around head first in piles of cocaine, celebrating. Twitter reopening. What you can't see is it's actually Elon Musk filming the clip. Now this is the latest Jewish news. See it here first, and it's very cryptically named Jewish news. It's news about Jews. Opinion as opposed to journalism. A desperate attempt to discredit me and the National Jewish Assembly. See what I've done there? Boom, give me a beat. Desperate attempt to discredit me and the National Jewish Assembly. Boom, 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 boom. See, should run the campaign, man. Fucking rap it to the kids. I could work for RT America. That kind of shit is the kind of shit you get on RT America. One for the kids, one for the children. So what happened was, now this goes to show the polarization that's actually even happening in the Jewish community, where you have left versus right shite. Everywhere you go, you always take the shade with you. I need to work on the lyrics on that bad boy. But let me see. Joe Rogan 1, Neil Young 0. I think it. That's my vocation. Neil Young. Typical evening for Tommy. Whipped cream wrestling. And oh man, it's pure homoerotic far right porn in it. Getting all creamed up, high-fiving each other and all that. Ooh! Full of gear, having sex parties with whipped cream. The subtitles are hilarious. Rapid kit. Yeah, I can do a rap. Night, Alan, my man. Catch you later, buddy. Fucking hate crowded house. Danny was asking after you kips. Tomo too. Tell them I'm all well. Right, so Jason Marlowe, head of the new National Jewish Assembly, gets his right of reply after Jewish News exposes social media posts that gravely question his suitability to hold a communal post. And basically, he's had social medias where he supports Bobby Robinson. And that doesn't sit well. You've got the headline and the news outlet on your screen, so you can find it yourselves if you want to go and fill in the details. But hold on, something's not working. Everywhere you go. Right, there we go. Hold on. It's working now. Express sympathy for far-right activist and convicted fraudster Tommy Robinson in a series of social media posts. Compared gay people to paedophiles, claimed sexuality as a choice, and derided reform conversations. This is his right of reply. So you get the flavour of where this guy's head is at politically, what kind of stuff he's ingesting on the social medias, and his politics doesn't fit, and that's been getting used against him within whatever organisation that is recently just popped up, the National Jewish Assembly, which on the surface you could say maybe it is getting set up, took over by people of the far right persuasion who happen to be Jewish, and the left-wing Jewish community is pushing back against it. As the far right celebrate, well, we just seen that with Tommy Robinson and his cocaine party. There ain't no party like a cocaine party. As the far right celebrate Elon Musk's Twitter takeover, fear amongst minorities is rising. Ooga booga booga, Twitter's gonna get you. Woo! Don't worry, we've got TikTok and Snatch. Oh shit, that's the. Don't Google Snapchat. Snatch. Easy for you to say. Do you know what, by the way? If there isn't a Snatch, there should be. I'm copyrighting that. Copyrighting it here. Copyrighted Kips Clips. Snap. Snatch. Self-explanatory. Like, where is my mouse loose about my house? I'm out of practice, folks. We know that when the right, we know that when the right to be racist must be written by some foreign muck person, misogynistic or homophobic, is given precedence over the right of people not to be attacked or abused. Social media becomes dangerous and toxic space. Right, well, and this is where you go into the realms of how things can be subjective. For example, people who are militant about pointing out that males and females can be defined scientifically using the XY chromosome and the XX or the YY, I can't quite remember right now, but whatever way it is divided, and they can go, well, for me, regardless of what you say, and I want the right to say it, for me that defines male and female, and sometimes things go astray and you get something in between. Now, that could be construed as all forms of fucking hate speech. In fact, it has been. I mean, look what's happening to J.K. Rowling because she thinks a woman has ovaries. What a controversial statement. What a controversial position to have, saying that a woman can be defined by ovaries. She's quite protective over her ovaries and her womanhood regarding having ovaries. And I can see where she's coming from. I mean, I think I'm quite protective over men being defined by having balls. Call me crazy, it's just like it's because I've got balls, it's like I own being a man. Everything else is just Ken doll shit. I don't want to shove my fucking point of view down anybody's throat or stop anybody calling themselves whatever they want to call or do whatever they want to do. I just want the ability to own my balls and be proud of being a man because I've got balls. And J.K. Rowling wants to do the same thing for having ovaries. And people that have expressed these views have been hurt by militant leftists. Because you get militant wankers for fucking both paradigms. You get militant wankers in the blue car as well as the red car while they're having a race. And both of them act like crazy menopausal fucking militant fuckwits. I mean, for men it's small man syndrome. For women it's typically menopause, early set on menopause. They start acting we've all seen it. To deny it doesn't happen doesn't make it so. But but obviously, like, the man menopause exists on some level as well. If you just go and look at the way some fucking backward retards act on these interwebs, people who used to get kicked out of woodlands, high flats, and all that, man. Fucking backward retards. Mental, chicken oriental. Anywho, so this is more the far left worrying that the far right is going to be able to counter their wokeness. The vile criminals put behind. Oh, right, aye, like, look at this. This was well funny. So we've got My London, with of course the Ukrainian fucking heart, right? And you're thinking, Tommy Robinson made this list. No, right? So along with, like, I mean, there's people that murdered like young kids and shit like that, man. Like pure fucking vile criminal list. Right, why am I keep fucking losing my moose about this house? Right, so dozens of dangerous criminals that thankfully put behind bars in April. So you've got a big list here of fucking people, man. Oh, what's this guy done? Murdering, raping. Or murdered. Oh, he's the guy that killed the school teacher. Fucking, he's just been jailed. Oh, this old fucking Gandalf looking motherfucker. 8 years. Beat somebody up with a brandy bottle, that cunt. Bad drunk. Must have been stoned when he got arrested there. Oh, he filmed himself raping a woman. So after he was finished with his Mensa meeting, he went and raped a woman. One more for good measure. Bomb making equipment. Woo! Right, so you see what a lovely bunch. There's kids that kicked fuck out of fucking people. I'm pretty sure these people murdered folks and all that as well. I think that guy just get fucking done for a mullet. Now this is the Tommy Robinson woman. So how did she make it into this fucking crazy ass list? A woman was jailed in April for changing an Oliver Twist song. Now, come on, fuck. I mean, surely to God, the sensible thing to do, stick her in a fucking straight jacket and rattle her fucking into mental ward. Don't lock the poor woman up for fucking making up fucking lyrics to a fucking song that offended people. And, well, of course, what she actually done was, you can pick a pocket or two, a penny or two or whatever, to a shekel or two. I'm pretty sure I've actually heard this song doing the rounds on the boob tubes. And for her to get arrested is ridiculous in the fucking first place. Never mind to make it onto this fucking list with murderers and rapists and cunts with bomb making equipment. Yeah, what are you in for? Yeah, well, I was going to bomb the fucking cops, man. Yeah, man, what are you in for? I filmed myself raping a fucking dumb slut. What are you in for? I changed the words in a song. What the fuck? Now, right, I do get it, man. When you read the details, man, she was breaking. She was, like, obviously a retarded repeat offender. She couldn't play the game and understand that she was, like getting threatened to go to jail about 3 or 4 times. But anyway, let's have a wee look. A woman was jailed for changing an Oliver Twist song to include grossly offensive lyrics. Jailed for grossly offensive lyrics. My lordy fucking lordy fucking lord. What decade are we fucking staying in? Fuck you, Jesus. Am I going to get a fucking church at my fucking door? Fuck you, Muhammad. You know what I mean? Fuck you, Torah. Who the fuck? Who's the Jews' fucking Messiah? Fuck you, Jew Messiah, whatever you are. Fuck yous all. Am I going to get fucking religious police at my fucking door? What is going on this planet? He's mental. Mental. And Tommy Robinson's name has been fucking wrapped up in this pish as well. Which is funny because Tommy Robinson's a Zionist lover. Regardless of whatever you think Zionism is or isn't, or who runs it. And she's singing naughty songs about Jews. Aimed at the Jewish religion, Alison Chablotz, who had previously been jailed for saying Hitler was right in her blog posts, I missed that, had written the words of the well-known song You've Got to Pick a Pocket or Two and posted the video online. 58-year-old podcast presenter from St John's Wood had sung the words You've got to shift a shekel or two, which was in breach of a previous suspended sentence. What the fuck did the judge say? Okay, you're free to go. Just a few conditions. You're only allowed to hop on one leg and cluck like a chicken. No singing or songing. And certainly no changing lyrics of a song to something that may amuse you and others. Or upset anybody. How dare you? Fuck me, man. Number of previous convictions for sending grossly offensive comments. Right, now, I would argue that she's got OCD and she's been sucked into the rabbit hole of the retardation of the interweb, which at some point all of us can be guilty of, me included. I pride myself in escaping the vortex, but there's still people out there fucking... And it makes you crazy and obsessed to the extent where you'll do things where you will fucking put your freedom at risk. And it'll just freedom of speech. Like, just freedom of speech, but you know what you're doing is going to fucking annoy fucking everybody. My barber is Ronaldo, you dick. I've no banned you yet, bozo, because I'm not reading the comments. But anyway, after making anti-Semitic remarks on a US podcast which she promoted on a far-right social media website called Gab. What the fuck was Gab? Gab was like a social media that was to replace YouTube when it started kicking all the far-right off, wasn't it? I don't know if it died a death or it, and I didn't know it was particularly far-right other than that it was set up to for the far-right. Subscribe. You can't subscribe to the Tommy. He's not allowed on social media, is the little midget. Night, K9. Night, buddy. There's Lieutenant Jedi, the third senior. Alright, buddy. Right, anyway, let's get back to this shite or I'll never finish it. I've already been doing an hour. Right, anyway, so, right, let's get to the Tommy Robinson bit and then I'll fucking do it off. Just need to find my mouse. There's there, right. She claimed the song had been written from the perspective of Tommy Robinson, but this explanation was dismissed by the judge. It was noted that she had a history of displaying hostility towards a religious group after she was jailed last April for similar offences, sentencing her to 22 weeks in prison. Fuck's sake. District Judge Ninja Temple said, "My view is that you spent time and consideration on how to change the words to make it offensive. The offence is aggravated by hostility towards a religious group, and I have to take into account your previous convictions for these kind of offences." So you can argue it's ridiculous that she has been jailed for, on the surface, changing the words of a song. But when you do dive into it a little bit closer, she's got a rap sheet that fucking long of doing very similar things. And she would have got let off the first 20 times. So this could have been, I don't know, or saying bad words against black, brown, fucking yellow, whatever people, and it getting reported, and it would. I would argue that the outcome would have been the same, that she would have got the book thrown at her, because she's just got a list that long of being fucking stupid and wasting the court's time with fucking jibber jabber shite, walking about shouting at fucking people because YouTube and social media's drove her insane against particular people. I mean, people she's probably shouting at and all that, or singing songs to, and she's probably never even met them. She doesn't know if they're a prick or not. Regardless of where you stand on Judaism or Catholicism or Protestantism. Anywho's, onwards and upwards. A wave of banned far-right influencers and extremists tried to rejoin Twitter after Musk announces his buyout. A slew of far-right figures previously banned, including former Trump advisor Stone. This is from the American perspective. Musk's agreement to buy Twitter for $44 billion. Musk has not provided any explicit details on how he would change the platform's content moderation policies, however, and banned figures who have tried to launch new accounts were quickly taken down again. Okie doke. There we go, there's information below the headline. Michael Hayden, spokesman for the Poverty Law Centre, said the organisation had noticed a stark increase of previously suspended far-right extremists trying to return to Twitter. We've also seen anti-government extremists and neo-Confederates attempt to return to Twitter this week. Now, what is it, the Southern Poverty Law Centre, that I'm led to believe through the rantings of Alex the Crazy Man Jones is predominantly a left-leaning organisation. So if Elon Musk is going to allow previously banned right-wingish figures back on this platform, then the left are obviously going to have a meltdown, which I'm pretty sure I showed you a few clips of that happening. And how can we demonise? Like, this is just pure pathetic fucking throwing Tommy Robinson's name in wherever you can just to make him look like a dumb prick. So Katie, the Genius Price, has risked jail again after she posted an illegal video from inside court yesterday. You know what Tommy Robinson done, and then he said he was arrested for doing journalism. Another Based Amy type. I know. Based Amy, man, that is a shame. Wonder what's happened to her, man. She and from my perspective, because I've not seen her on YouTube, she's fell off the face of the earth, but she's probably still fucking roaming the globe with a crazy look in her eye. Therefore won't be tweeting. What's for the criminal? Rose West. Right. So, and the reason. Sorry, I should actually show you how that's relating to Tommy Robinson. Because they're pointing at the fact that Tommy Robinson done the exact same thing and ended up in jail for it. But some would say that Tommy Robinson's got a wee bit more of a rap sheet of like aggravating people. So you could possibly see her getting away with community service or some shit like that. Probably her time would be better spent in community service than rotting in a prison. Whereas Tommy Robinson had already spent time at His Majesty's pleasure. Anywho, so that's the far right and Bobby Robinson going back to the tweeters. Let's have a wee look at Stain. Now, there's an amazing... I've not been aware of this dude. Maybe yous have. This guy, Graham Phillips.
Hello again, and the focus of this special report.
Now, again, I am not blinkered. I understand this guy is coming from a certain perspective.
You say that you care about the...
What's interesting is the perspective.
This is Mariupol.
Is boots on the ground from the Russian side. The
2nd of May, the situation in the city itself, I would say becoming calmer, but obviously it doesn't sound like that, but that's because we're pretty near Azovstal. Until recently, Ukrainian sabotage groups have been coming in and around, opening fire on houses and civilians. We can see one dead Ukrainian member of the neo-Nazi Azov battalion there. So they're coming in and around, opening fire on houses and civilians. We can see one dead Ukrainian member of the neo-Nazi Azov battalion there.
So that's him saying that that's a dead soldier from the neo-Nazi battalion, the Azov brigade. Real, fake, planted beforehand, before he turned on the camera. Who fucking knows? Look at this guy. He certainly looks like he's done a wee bit of weight. He's like a Phil Mitchell type. He's like a Ross Kemp. Do you know what I mean? He certainly doesn't look like a wee weed. He's got a very English accent, but can speak Russian or Ukrainian or whatever pidgin dialect these motherfuckers in and around this area are using. I put a link in there if you want to go and check out his channel, because he's boots on the ground behind the other line. So if you watch the BBC with boots on the ground and them telling you their shit, and then you can watch this guy telling you his truths. But I would argue he's clear, for me, for him to operate where he's operating with a camera, and later on you'll see he does a drone and all that. He's obviously got permission from the authorities in that region, which leads me to believe he tends to side with them, but maybe he's just independent.
So they're coming into the city, being liquidated.
So he looks like a soldier, doesn't he?
Being liquidated, you know what I mean? Every boom and bang you hear from Azovstal is that happening, which is obviously going to be the subject of this new reportage coming up. So we're also here. Christina, привет! Ты моя хорошенькая. Как дела?
Is he an XRT guy, Stuffer? Never knew that, mate. Good call. Thank you, mate. That's educational. I knew he certainly wasn't just like a guy fucking down the road that just flew over to Ukraine and was able to walk around these war zones and all that. I didn't know that he had been previously on the RTs, which makes sense. He's obviously Russian intelligence on some level.
Вот Таня.
Ah,
Вот этот, вот, дедушка вот этот. Вот, вы видите?
Tanusha, да?
Aye, head.
So we're here doing a humanitarian distribution and filming.
Richie, it's not only brown people are bad. He's quite happy to get some token brown people on board. It's brown people, Muslim brown people are the only paedophiles in the UK. They're the only ones butt fucking little children up and down the UK. The only ones. Only brown motherfuckers. And you see the ones that are going through court, that are getting tried and getting prosecuted, that Tommy's pointing at going, they're getting away with it, they're getting away with it. What kind of weird, bizarro fucking land do you need to stay in when some people believe that kind of like Jedi mind trick?
Reportage. We've got some friends along with flags here. There we go. It's quite.
I bet he's wearing flip-flops.
Quite a show here all going on. And the background, as you open the boot, and
he's in the wee sliders and all that pump.
Everywhere. We've brought all the humanitarian aid we can, but. Да.
Помню вас там еще.
Очень приятно.
Очень приятно.
Гриша.
Да, я помню вас.
Ну давай побыстренько, чтобы получить это. So, да. Давай сделаем. Я тоже буду делать. За победой.
Ой, что я сделал?
Да ничего. Сиски. С победой. За нами.
Конечно, за нами.
Вот так.
So he's a celebrity?
Actually, we're going to be getting really close to Azovstal, which is literally just there. So close, and we're going to be getting even closer.
So this guy put this up today.
There we go. Azovstal. Get a load of that.
Now, see, I don't know, like, I'll just pull a number at the here, but say about 8 years ago, I would have watched this going, oh, look, this guy's just telling you as it is on the street, because the narrative that he's projecting kinda fits in, or could fit in with my worldview, or might fit in with your worldview, or tick a few boxes in your worldview. But you need to ask how that, well, people in the chat have answered the question. He's an XRT guy, which leads you to believe in some level he's Russian intelligence, clearly educated in some of the best schools in England, because if he's loyal to Russia and was sent to England to get educated, you're not going to send somebody there and fucking put them in a local slums high school. Anywho, there's another one which is quite good.
Is of course Mariupol, and in particular the Azovstal steel plant, and we cover the dates from April the 27th to today the 30th. Now previously we've approached the vast 11 square kilometre site of Azovstal from the left bank of Mariupol, which we see here, but with the city under full DPR control, apart from the Azovstal site and Ukrainian sabotage groups in the city being eliminated, and with their elimination, the end of street battles, street fighting in Mariupol, access in the city is opening up. So now we're going to drive right through Mariupol and have a look at Azovstal from the centre.
The age of consent in Ukraine? Are you asking? I have no idea. I'd imagine it would be about 16 or 18. Lefties are a disease, and we will cut it out. Line, I don't know if you're just like a guy getting mad with a few cans, like just talking shite for the hip, or you're actually sitting there like genuinely believing this shit, man. I mean, it's crazy to think, because I think I've witnessed folk on the social medias and elsewhere that are that batshit crazy? I think. I do believe. Pretty sure there is some other British guy out there as well, some fat ginger, but I can't remember his name. Mate, Google's a wonderful thing. I'm going to Google fat ginger in Ukraine later on, and I bet you I get a hit. Look, it's in better nick than Iraq. The Russians have left it better than the Brits and Americans left Iraq. The Russians must be using rainbow, unicorn and Care Bear bombs and bullets. Where is this footage from? Glasgow? Fuck you, Richie. Edinburgh, mate. That's where it's for, Edinburgh. I don't know why you're saying you particularly love Russia, mate. I mean, do you want to hear some interesting facts? Or some not so interesting facts? The country, Russia itself, one of its first ever capitals, its second capital actually, was Kiev. Back when it was the Rus Vikings. Russians are Vikings. They ethnically come and hail from the Rus Vikings, which, the clues in the name, come from Viking land. Boom. And their second capital was Kiev. That's the birthplace of Kiev as a large city. And
so let's put the drone up now. By the way, don't think I was just standing there filming people struggling to cross over what was once a bridge. Those in need were of course given a hand, and actually as the car was stopped there by the ex-bridge, now kind of obstacle assault
it's alright, Richie, you're only too far off,
Mariupol, several people approached me and just outright asked for drinking water. So it's Mariupol, you give everything you can and then more. And now to give you a unique view of the Azovstal Iron and Steel Works, founded in 1930, so not quite making it to 100 years, flanked by the Azov Sea. You can see really a spectacular setting as we look over Mariupol, and the Azovstal steel plant currently home to an ever diminishing number of members of Ukraine's neo-Nazi Azov battalion. The ironies, of course, abound. In World War II, Mariupol was occupied by Nazi Germany, and the Azov steel plant was...
So, Biome, now, whether you agree this is real or not, that isn't my point I'm making here, but him passing off without question the fact that it's neo-Nazis, it's the Azov brigade that's there doing that, the neo-Nazis and stuff. You can tell where his butter is, what side his bread is buttered on. You can tell what side his butter is breaded on, okay? So I dropped a link for that guy. He was new to me. And what's this? The Sun. Coming out with drone footage, which, man, this drone operator got to get sacked. Fuck's sake, mate. Hold it still! Steady! Right, zoom in so we can actually see something. Now steady. Steady, I'm getting... Right, and again. I'm not saying that isn't happening. It's obviously happening. The sun again. But do you think it's a coincidence that all they're doing is showing you Ukrainian troops in a good light and Russian troops in a bad light? I mean, here's the Russian, big bad Russians, using rockets in war. I mean, imagine turning up a war with rockets and guns with bullets in, and then even having the audacity to shoot those bombs and bullets at people that are fucking shooting at you. These Russians are mental. I don't know what kind of warfare they fucking signed up for. Did they sign up for the kind of warfare where you actually shoot at people? Fucking crazy Ruskies. Right, what's this?
You say that you care about the Ukrainian people. Why then are we...
Holy
You say that you care about the Ukrainian people. Why then are we making it harder?
Come on, show us our legs and the basic instinct thing.
For Ukrainian
Put
women
Boris
and children
Johnson off.
fleeing war to come here to the UK?
Well, we have done a huge amount to help Ukrainian women and children in the area, but we're now seeing large numbers come to the UK. And so
They're
far,
waiting weeks, Prime Minister, for visas.
86,000 visas have been issued.
How big is his boys, man?
Already here. And I want to say thank you. I want to pay 27,000.
So his belly or his boys or a bit of both?
Fast,
Okay, so
Susanna.
it's the numbers
and
that
I want to pay tribute to all those who are helping to look after Ukrainians.
Absolutely right. But
could we have done it faster? Yes, perhaps we could. Made a big difference.
You say that you care about the Ukrainian
Here's the illusion of masturbation. I mean, the illusion of debation. Right, where are we at? That was you, Stain. Next week, I might have a more comprehensive
Millions of people in China are still living under the world's most draconian lockdown measures.
Oh, this is Covenant. So, this is hilarious.
The face of the country's brutal zero COVID policy continues to emerge, including this footage of a man in Beijing who sealed himself into his car because he feared he might have the virus. Residents in Shanghai have staged screaming protests from their homes.
Man, we think the Chinese citizens are under thumb. When we get fucking totally locked down, we go out there with our pots and pans and go, "Ooh, the NHS is fucking great. Ooh, I'm not allowed to see my dying mother. Oh, I fucking love my NHS. Oh, pots and fucking pans." These cunts are fucking hanging out around there going, "Ah!" Like Eminem going, "Ah!" Go crazy, woo, go crazy. It's Sunday and it's Monday and it's
Robert
Monday.
Lawrence Kuhn, he's a long-time advisor to Chinese leaders and the author of How China... Welcome to the show.
Help me now! Join me now! Now this is fucking dickhead fucking uncensored. I hate this prick. And it's on Sky News Australia. And I obviously understand basically both Rupert Murdoch entities, right? So I understand the cross-promotion and all that. My question being in my head, I don't know if anyone can answer about it, maybe the Googles will later on. Is this prick on Sky News Australia as well? Is he like an internationally... Is he an international cunt? Is that his job title? Hey, what do you do? I'm in banking. Yeah, man, I'm in finance. Yeah, what do you do, Piers? I'm an international cunt. Yeah, professional cunt bag. Yeah, I get paid to be a absolute slimy cunt. And even more, I deliberately act like a slimy cunt. I've took slimy cunt lessons. In fact, I went to slimy cunt etiquette school to learn how to be the slimiest cunt I could be. And I make a living from it. I mean, if I was a good guy or I wasn't a slimy cunt, I wouldn't make the money that I make. So bring on the slimy cuntiness. And he does bring on the slimy continus in droves. And like, see people that get wound up by him. I just like to call him a slimy cunt. I try not to get wound up by him because that's his job. If he winds you up, job's a good one.
Just explain to me,
it's
how long can
Monday,
this go
yes,
on, this zero COVID policy in China, given the reaction from the people there? And can it work?
It'll go on for the rest of the year through the 20th Party Congress, which is probably in November. It's important to understand 3 reasons why the lockdown policy is in place. First, putting people first is the leadership, President Xi Jinping, the party's highest objective, their mission, and saving people's lives is the top of the list. Estimates were that there might have been
come on, China, save some lives. Come on down.
Done the draconian lockdowns in the early days. Secondly, because of the early success with the original virus, China has claimed that their system for putting people first is the best in the world, better than...
Right. Now, if I wanted to make a clickbaity video, what I would do is I would clip that out of context right there, with him going, after the success of the first virus. Really? Really? The first virus that shut down the world economy was a success. I think uses Dr. Evil. Where is your little midget me? Midget me? Where is your midget me? I don't think he would be allowed a midget me anymore. I watched Austin Powers in Wayne's World again for the first time in ages, man. Fucking hell, by the way, the comedies were ahead of their motherfucking time. I'm telling you.
In the Western liberal democracies. So that puts a marker down on the street. Third, the
puts a marker down on the street. Yeah, man, you want to beat COVID, you gotta kill fucking more cunts than that. You gotta shut down the economy for 10 million years, motherfuckers.
20th Party Congress, for people not familiar with it, is the most important event in China's political calendar. It occurs every 5 years. It establishes the leadership, the top people, which in China is the most important aspect. And China needs absolute stability, especially in Beijing, until that time. So I don't expect any changes from significant lockdown.
Is it just me, or is this guy making it sound like the fucking Chinos are fucking doing a fucking good job by fucking locking cunts up in their cardboard fucking boxes? See if he started locking people up and they were like out their window going, Aah! Nah, they're Chinos, they're probably going, Asoo! Just best guessing here. Just shooting a card. I don't know. What does a Chinaman sound like when he screams? But anyway, it shows you that the cunts are going batshit fucking crazy, and I can imagine why so, man. Oh, dearie me, dearie me, dearie me, dearie me, man. But hey ho, fuck it.
They'll try to modify it a little bit, as we see in Shanghai, as they can, but no significant changes until after the Party Congress. And after that, there will be and has to be a relaxation of the zero COVID policy just to keep the economy going.
Robert, thank you. Brilliantly articulated. It's a fascinating situation there, and I appreciate you joining us. Sorry we didn't have more time.
Fascinating.
Thank you.
Now, of course, the Chiners are completely bad for doing what they're doing. But when the Western powers done fucking similar shit and all that, nah, has to be done. Social distancing, browbeat, wear masks, do what you're told, slaves.
Ambassador to Ukraine says her return to Kiev has been incredibly emotional. Melinda.
Oh shit, this is in the wrong folder. Right, this is what I wanted to do. Okay. These are just some things that jump to bed. Oh, sorry, I should have got this. I meant to actually get this shit up beforehand. Why did I find it so much easier earlier on? Rape with gun. Maybe that's what it was. But man, earlier on I had this man, the fucking gun going right up his ass and everything. Right, okay. Google is asking me to be Pacific. Killed and raped with gun, motherfucker. There we go. Still know the same fucking results I had earlier. The gun going right up his ass. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you with just fucking sitting and searching shit. Mike, that's still strange. It's a different search results I had earlier. I must be obviously putting different bullcrap. But anywho's, so Iraq, WikiLeaks. Shit. Surely that's got to do the damage. So
Simmons and her staff were moved to Lviv shortly after Russia's invasion began. They returned on Friday in what she said was a psychologically important move.
This is my home. For 2.5 years it's been my home. And I've travelled this country, north, south, east and west of it. I've got to...
You get a fucking weird accent for a fucking Ukrainian fucking smorch schmitzpew. Do you like fucking boiled cabbage? This is my fucking home. Look, she needs HRT. These are the dangerous women. People think women are all fucking peace-loving and all that, man. You get a fucking menopausal woman like her. They're willing to pull triggers left, right and centre because their fucking brains are fucking wasted. Menopausal women are dangerous. Behind every big mafia don is a menopausal woman. Fact. The godmother.
I know it incredibly well. I know many people who are fighting, and I know wives and children of people who are fighting. It's incredible.
I know, because you're paying them all, you fucking idiot.
British friends and colleagues, for me to be here. It means an enormous amount for me to be here.
And when you see this country being ravaged and death and destruction in so many places.
This country being ravaged. Yes, well, when we spread freedom and democracy in Iraq, yes, we were spreading the freedom and democracy. Has any pictures came out of Russian troops torturing people yet, or is it just all fucking talking heads on fucking TV telling you how bad the fucking Jolly Green Giant is? Gitmo, are we rounding up? Are the Russians rounding up people and fucking sending them to a gulag in Siberia yet? Is that happening? Are they putting them in orange jumpsuits and shit? Fucking treating them like fucking... treating them like people that fell off the face of the fucking earth with no recourse? Were they raping... Were they paying proxies to go and kill their enemies with guns and rape them? And murder them? Fuck, I should have showed Saddam Hussein as well, getting hung. Are they using gunships to shoot down journalists in the street? Killing them dead in the street? when they're clearly getting no guns, bombs, bullets, weapons, any form of fucking threat, you actually hear the guy fucking going, hey, 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 brrr. And they're all up here going, the Russians are doing war crimes. They used a gun to kill somebody and they killed somebody and it's a war crime because they killed somebody. Fuck you, you fucking absolute fucking arseholes.
Pretty soon, I'm hoping we're not going to know, because we're not...
Shit, where the fuck was I? I am shocked!
What goes through your mind when you see all of that?
Well, we drove through that, of course, because if you take the car, you come, into Kiev Oblast, then you can see just how hard Russia tried to take Kiev and also just how quickly the focus became on hitting.
So she's trying to infer that, I was going through the war zones! I seen it all! Bill, fucking shit, you were never. Look at the fucking state of you fucking man in a wig. You at no point were ever put in any fucking threat level, fuck all. Ever! Fucking menopausal cow.
Civilians and attacking civilians. And that is shock upon shock. We passed, bombed out playgrounds, bombed out schools, hospitals, burned out trees, twisted metal in farms.
Bombed out trees? They're bombing the tree, it's a war crime! War crimes are violence against palm trees.
Farmland, so obvious really that right from the beginning, this was about hitting the Ukrainian nation. It wasn't just about taking out the military capability.
What's wrong with her?
Shock is really important to
Has she got ecky jaw? I think she's got an ecky jaw, by the way.
And it needs calling out in order to ensure that this sustained justice.
She has got a fucking ecky jaw! And you can't get fucking hot a fucking pot noodles in Ukraine, but you can still get yourself fucking ecky.
This becomes part of the conversation that we have very quickly.
She fucking looks like a fucking 18-year-old girl in a fucking nightclub. A fucking British ambassador in Ecky Joe fucking Ecky Joe exclusive on Kip's Clips. She has got an Ecky Joe. Let's not forget, come on. When we do war, we do it with love bombs and bullets. We don't torture people. We don't round people up. And I know this is predominantly all the Yankee Doodle dandies, man, but they're our fucking proxy. We rule and run the Yankee Doodle fucking dandies. Let's no have two bones about it. Although some people would love a bone about it. And there's France 24 because deny. Anyway. And here's old man Joe talking about the old COVID. Let it rip. Oh man, I can't make a fart noise anymore. There, that's the best one. She definitely had Ecky Joe, by the way. I'm not joking. I think I'm very shocked. The Russians have been bombing stuff. I drove by it in a car. I was out my nut. Anyway, here's old man Joe talking about the Cove not. And he's talking about unfact. Hold on, I'll give you the first couple of minutes and share the link.
Well, warm welcome to today's talk, Tuesday the 3rd of May. Now, the Danish authorities said they're going to let the virus rip. That was their terminology. In the United Kingdom and the United States, we've not said that, but we've said everything but, and this is de facto the policy now, and I want to show you about that in a minute. And I also want to contrast this to really the...
I've had COVID. Couple of days of fucking sore headness and shit, man. Nothing major. Which means I have a natural immunity. I'm all good, baby. I'm right now not fretting or fucking anything about the COVIDs. I am about the cold, which seems to be fucking ripping through everywhere as well right now. Right, well, let's listen. What's happening in Denmark and them letting it rip.
The quite distressing things coming out of China at the moment as well. Just look at a few figures. This is straight from the CDC site in the States. So these are the number of cases. Now this is the BA1, the Omicron, huge bounce there, and
Remember,
the
folks,
BA2 bounce is there, and I don't believe it's going to get too much bigger than that. So that's actually
and let
really
the love grow.
Good news. And when we look at the hospitalisations in the States, it's very reflective of that. We do see a slight increase at the moment in hospitalisations, but it's not really at a concerning level. Of course, we want less, but it's not really at a concerning level compared to this, the Omicron BA1, huge spike. Now, deaths in the States, down quite dramatically, but do bear in mind that this line here is still 1,000 deaths a day. This is 2,000 deaths a day. So we had that horrendous spike for representing the Omicron wave, but down really quite significantly now. And as I say, I'm not expecting a big Omicron BA2 bounce. Now, that is despite this graphic here. So here we have the increase in BA2.
It bores you with all the fucking variants and the variants to come and all that kind of shit. But if you can be bothered and you want a bit of COVID news and see what the Danes are doing, or what they're not doing, butter in, because it is interesting. But me personally, I've wasted enough time on that push in my life. To be quite honest, man. COVID's just a cold now. And the longer it stays that way, the better.
Breaking this morning at 6 o'clock, a live look from the U.S. Supreme Court as we learn more about a potential end to the landmark Roe versus Wade decision. That's according to a draft of a U.S. Supreme Court opinion. Politico says it is obtained and verified.
Our Andrea Albers is with us here in studio to break down how we got here. Andrea, good morning.
Good morning. It's important to point out a few things right away. One, NBC News has not been able to verify if this leaked document is authentic. Two, if it is real, this is an extraordinary leak. The Supreme Court has not reached a final decision yet, and justices can still change which side they will land on. With that said, let's get into this. Let's take another look at that live video from in front of the U.S. Supreme Court building. Protesters from both sides started gathering there last night. Right now, it's quiet. The leaked opinion indicates that at least 5...
There wasn't enough things for people to want to be battering each other over, man. I mean, surely to God, there's really, really extreme views on both sides of the fucking fence on this. Me, I would say I'm completely central, man. I don't know. In fact, I know exactly my point of view. I don't feel the necessity to force it on anybody. Abortion shouldn't be made illegal, in my opinion, because it will always happen, and you don't want women to have to resort to the old school coat hanger and back alley shit where women are taking their lives in their hands, because in extreme cases women will do anything to get rid of babies in extreme cases. I'm quite I think I said at the start of the show as well, man, I think this boils down to states' rights. And if the states get the right back to make their own decision on this, then you'll see a variant of laws throughout the United States, and then you'll have a barrage of data. I like him in Star Trek. But you'll have hundreds of data that will allow you to get a better idea of what policies actually work to reduce that shit. Surely people want it reduced. But I certainly don't want... I would love it to be enshrined in law that there can't be any profit made from that shit. Because as soon as you've got profit, you've got incentive. As soon as you've got incentive, you've got dumb fucking women getting swayed by people who are looking at the bottom line rather than what's good for the individual. So I would love that, and I would also love ideal scenario, the man be involved in the decision as well. Not having a casting vote or anything like that, or making the decision, but at least be involved in the process. A woman not being able to go behind a guy's back and abort his baby. You know? That's kind of fucked up shit, but that's just where my head's at. But each to their own.
Supreme Court justices side with Mississippi in its case, challenging the abortion ruling. Justice Samuel Alito writes that Roe v. Wade must be overruled, saying, quote, "The Constitution makes no reference to abortion, and no such right is implicitly protected by any constitutional provision." He added that it's time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to individual states. The bottom line this morning is abortion is still legal in the U.S. The final ruling from the court is expected in late June or...
Nobody suggested that it's going to be illegal. This is when you know they're trying to sway your opinion. When they're misrepresenting the argument itself. People are arguing about the states to have the right to decide. None of these states are arguing to make abortion illegal. Some of them are wanting to change the policy to make it harder and this and that and so on and so forth. Which I would argue can only be healthy. But you can definitely see where people's persuasion is when they're talking about this and how they frame the argument.
Early July.
So, Andrea, as you mentioned, overturning this landmark decision would allow states then to ban abortions. What do we know about any potential impact here in Wisconsin?
Well, Wisconsin does have a law on the books that could be used to make abortion a crime if that federal protection is overturned. But keep in mind, Roe v. Wade has been the law of the land for decades now, so it's not clear.
Thingy has a thing on the books that could actually make bananas illegal if they shove it up your arse and then spew it out your mouth. If, buts, maybes, why is she saying that? Do you know there's a law on the books that people in Carlisle can legally shoot Scottishmen with crossbows if they're out late at night or some shit? That's a law on the books. These are absolute fear-mongering fucking... This woman obviously clearly has the same makeup artist as the Joker for Batman as well. Fuck's sake, Ken. Learn how to dull down your fucking scary makeup before you fucking start scaring people with fucking... We're going to make abortion illegal! Nobody's talking about that, you fucking dumb cow.
If old law would immediately take effect or if it would need to be reenacted. Reporting live in studio, Andrea Albers, Team J4 News.
All right, Andrea, thank you. And in the meantime, local leaders are speaking out on what this could mean for women's reproductive...
This could mean... Coulda, woulda, shoulda, fucking coulda, woulda, 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 woulda. Something like that.
...rights here in our state.
Our Elaine Rojas Castillo live this morning at a local clinic with what those running for governor have to say about all this. Good morning, Elaine.
That's right. Good morning to you both. We are standing in front of one of the city's abortion clinics, and normally there are people protesting on any given time, but right now it is really quiet. And this morning, with the potential for 2 historic rulings that protect women's reproductive rights in our country up for discussion due to this leak of this potential opinion, it's weighing on the minds of those that are running for Wisconsin's top job. Now, Governor Tony Evers released a statement last night saying that he promised to fight to protect access to abortion and reproductive rights for as long as he is in office. And I've spent the morning going through the social media feeds of...
Okay, so the governor is coming out and saying there isn't going to be any fucking Abortion's still going to be available for women that want it. And yet, for some reason, they're all out there with their fucking fannies flapping. My fanny's under attack. Nobody's attacking your fanny, you daft cow. It's states' rights. Fucking.
Other candidates running for that position, and at least 3 Republican gubernatorial candidates have each said they hope this is how the court ultimately rules. Former Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Kleefisch sent out a tweet after the article was published by Politico saying, quote, "It's about time." Businessman Tim Mitchells said he and his wife have long worked for and prayed for this moment and hope that this news proves to be true. Another candidate, Kevin Nicholson, also tweeted saying that he feels the same way as Tim Mitchells. Now, candidates Timothy Ramthun and Adam Fisher.
So all the politicians are coming out and saying they're not going to fucking go near this shit. So it's just about states' rights and the decision-making process moving from Washington, D.C. to the seat of power, wherever the fucking state is. And all these women can't stop fucking flapping their fanny flaps all over the place saying, "Oh, they're going to make abortion illegal! Stop attacking my body! Stop attacking my body!" Most of them are fucking fat, horrible lesbian-looking types. Your body's safe, hen, don't worry!
Haven't released statements on this issue, but as I mentioned, I am going through their social media profiles, and if we get any response from them, we'll be sure to share it with you. Now, when it comes to what candidates and current leaders across Wisconsin have to say, TMJ4 News has compiled a running list of those responses, and if you want to read those on your own, you can head to our website and search for this story. Reporting live in Milwaukee.
If you want to see everybody actually saying that this story is a load of pish and nothing's going to happen to anybody, any woman's right to have an abortion, the ability to govern that may move to the state, away from Washington, D.C., but nobody anywhere near the seat of power in this state is talking about actually fucking changing it. And fuck's sake, man. Get some fucking HRT down your neck and go and fucking read a fucking fashion magazine or something.
Elaine Rojas Castillo, TMJ4 News.
All right, Elaine, thank
Oh, God.
Human rights are under attack. What do we do? Stand up, fight back. What do we do? Stand up, fight back.
It's very scary. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion can be life-saving.
Again, hen, I think you've done enough with birth control on your own. Sorry, man. It's just too easy, man. It is too easy, isn't it? It's just...
I have a disability that puts me at...
Oh man, that was such an evil laugh. I was talking about her setting me up. There's nothing better than somebody that loves to fucking sit and tell you about fucking a list this long, everything that's wrong with them.
At a particularly high risk for loss of life from pregnancy, so abortion would truly be life-saving to me.
So what are you worried about then, you fat cow? Nobody's actually talking about taking abortion away from you. Where is anybody, anywhere, ever, apart from your religious fucking crazy nuts, that are nowhere near any seat of power, talking about taking your right of abortion away from you? You just wanted somewhere to go and fucking flap your 10 chins.
If I ever did get pregnant.
People who have the access and the power to be able to make decisions for the general population without an actual understanding of the lives that we live and the complications that we can face. It's really frustrating.
I think because she's a small person. I think that's the way you're meant to call them now. Back in the day, it would be a midget, but or a dwarf. I like dwarfs. I've got a lovely romantic connotation because of Snow White and all that. But I think because of their proportions and shit, pregnancy can be dodgy for obvious reasons. But again, show me anywhere, apart from fucking crazy churches, where they just want to stop abortion full stop. I'm talking about politicians and people near this bill and shit in the law. Show me anywhere that they're making abortion illegal.
Also, I think it's important that people know that abortion is still legal at this point.
I've got them. What the fuck you talking? Nobody's talking about. These people are warped. They are crazy. They have been brainwashed into believing something which isn't. It's like them bouncing into a Celtic supporters club and then coming out and going, "Ah, Celtic are the better than Rangers. They've won more trophies." No, they fucking haven't. Rangers are better than Celtic. Fact. We've won more shit than them. Fact. There's no denying that stuff. And these women are somehow, some way, think there's someday, somewhere, somehow, near the seat of power or decision-making process that's going to make abortion illegal. No. I'm pretty sure even your craziest of crazies of crazy fucking religious crazy nuts that's anti-abortion is actually happy for abortion to be available to people. For example, that fatty and that little and large who have problems giving birth and it's life-threatening. I'm pretty sure even the craziest of crazy religious people say it's okay for them to get abortions for medical reasons. I'm pretty sure there is actually people out there that just say no, 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 no. But they are very few and far between. Anyway, that's enough for this fucking crazy. Quit strap. What are you talking about, fool?
Alright, everyone, we start off today with...
Alright, everyone. I'm an occultist, heavy metal dude that looks like the guy from the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb, that likes Hawaiian shirts, and I'm an expert on birth control and shit, and I'm a absolute political commentary guy, because I know about the Steve Hexenhammer 6666.
With a very, very major news story, which is that a draft opinion written by the justices at SCOTUS, it's a draft opinion, this isn't the final version, appears to indicate that they will vote to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, there are several potential ways this could actually pan out from there, because, of course, overturning Roe v. Wade does not necessitate upholding Dobbs, and vice versa. There were really multiple ways that SCOTUS could and potentially still can go, and importantly, you don't apparently have Justice Roberts, the Chief Justice, signing on explicitly to the majority opinion. You have 3 Democrats appointed justices dissenting, 5 in favor of overturning Roe v. Wade, but Roberts isn't actually there in the group. It indicates possibly a split opinion. That is, he's not signing on with the majority opinion about the decision. He has his own...
Well, we'll see you can get your political analysis from a guy who is famous for writing books on the occult, but one and the same thing. What's the difference? China. This is pretty cool, actually. This is... It used to be CCTV, but it's the China State TV. Just thought it was interesting they're putting out stuff about Tibet, which... a cockerel, pretty cool. I mean, how long ago was this? 1 day ago. There we go. So it's kind of, I don't know, how would I word what I'm trying to explain here? It's no accident that the Chinese state-run TVs showing you archaeological findings from Tibet that they found and stuff. It's a way of staking claim to the territory without staking claim to the territory, if that makes sense. I mean, if they go in there and set up a university and it starts pumping out educated people that go and do good things around the world, it's hard to turn around and kick out the Chiners. So they're building shit. And just to prove my point, weirdly enough, I didn't know about this, I just put Tibet in. That's the China's putting in more infrastructure in and around Tibet. Bridge will cut down 180 kilometre loop. About to counter operations like Indian Army's capture of dominating heights in 2020. Alright. Because China and India have disputed territory in and around Sikkim and stuff. Which I do know about. But, let's see. Tibet's leader seeks US action to end China's cultural eradication. So, that's kind of what I'm pointing at. The China news in there talking about archaeological finds, and they'll say it's to this people, that people, and as you can see, that was 1 week ago. I'm not the only one kinda on that page of that's what's happening in and around that neck of the woods. There is a fight on for that territory between the Western influences, using India as a proxy, bought and paid for proxy, and China, which I thought was interesting to stick in the mix. Well, let's have a look at some of the Nazi SMP shite.
Is this the pandemic effect? Because I know
Now, this obviously comes from Great Britain News, which is Nigel Farage TV, which means they are pro-unionist, anti-SNP nationalist, and thus you get pieces like this.
Cause of that was,
although
clearly
the reason I stuck this in is because what this guy says is when the minimum price, unit price came in, there was a reduction of 3%. I think it was alcohol consumption or it was alcohol related diseases. I think it was consumption. But then when the pandemic kicked in, and the pandemic effect and the alcohol consumption went through the roof, the alcohol market changed. Right, so prior to the minimum, and I would say I speak with some authority on this bullcrap, prior to the minimum price of alcohol coming in, people who were dependent and drinking a lot on the poverty line. Now, this is the thing, on the poverty line, would typically go and hit your strong white ciders. You know, your ciders that hadn't seen a fucking apple in its life. It's just all chemicals, really high percentage ciders, cheap as a motherfucker. That's predominantly where people who were dependent on alcohol would go. Number one, for economic reasons. Well, number one, number two, number three, economic reasons. It's the cheapest shit you could get to get you drunk. Now, since the minimum price of alcohols came in, people who are dependent on alcohol haven't stopped being dependent on alcohol. So their addiction, their habit, their disease, whatever way you want to frame it, is now the cost is now went through the roof. So before you could go and buy, like for example, you could go to Tesco's for £2, you could buy a big fucking massive bottle of fucking cider, right? And somebody could take that home and it could do them all day. Now that bottle is £5, which to a lot of people isn't a hop, skip and a jump away from the £6 odd you need to get like a half bottle of whiskey or a half bottle of wine, fortified wine, as they call it in this fucking report. So this guy's confirming what I've known to be a reality, where it's made things worse for alcoholics. Beforehand, they would be going and spending £2, still money left over to even maybe buy a sandwich and eat that day. And they could make that aside or do them all day. Now, they're going and buying half bottles of fucking whiskey and brandy and vodka, as this guy talks about it, that's came out in all the facts and figures that's available to motherfuckers. So it hasn't changed people's being dependent on alcohol, but there's no services, there's no support. It's putting people in economic hardship. It's putting people with alcohol dependencies in economic hardship because they're having to spend a fortune to fucking support their alcohol habits. And this is all very predictable, by the way. I think it's a cull. Like universal credit. Okay, junkie scumbag. Here's a big mad pile of cash. Make sure you pay all your bills and feed yourself this week. It's crazy. There's nobody that can convince me that the effect universal credit had on your average junkie, alky type that can't manage money. You give them a big fucking pot of cash and tell them to manage it for a month. Make sure you pay your bills, make sure you pay your rent. All getting flung out left, right and centre, can't fucking manage their money. If they're not ODing or fucking drinking themselves to death when they get that big pot of cash. And this is all very predictable, I think. It's a cull. And same with the fucking minimum alcohol price. But who knows? And by the way, the booze manufacturers are making a fucking fortune. Absolute fortune. Get no competition. There's no competition when it comes to price. So the large manufacturers stay large and the small ones will stay small forever. There'll be no.
I think there's been a mission towards identity politics that really aren't in keeping of what most people think. What I want, it's not just Nicola Sturgeon on this particular issue. You know, Emily Thornberry, Keir Starmer got in a pickle about this as well recently. What I want is politicians to come up with definitive answers that are in keeping with what most people think. And on this one, she has got herself in a pickle over this, and she undermines the very thing that she claims to be feminism. There needs to be clear definition on this. That's not undermining the rights of the trans community. The trans community, like all aspects, should not be discriminated against. But what Nicola Sturgeon's doing, likewise with Keir Starmer, is muddying the waters. And actually, it's bad optics for them because they look like politicians who are slippery and not answering the actual question.
It's a political beach ball, political volleyball probably is a better way of describing it. It's just getting used by the left and right as a political football, political volleyball, to hit between them to try and score points. None of them are actually genuine and actually give a fucking shit about this stuff. I mean, in your day-to-day activities, how many times do you bump into trannies and toilets and all that shit? Pretty much zip. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't affect people's day-to-day lives. Your average person's day-to-day lives, but somehow, some way, it's snowballed into the topic we should all be talking about. They don't tell you what to think, but they'll tell you what to think about. That universal basic income, mate, that's getting muted and tried, and need to keep an eye on that, see what happens, man. But that universal credit is a call. I genuinely believe that, man. Can he be anything other than a fucking call? Okie dokie, pig in a pokey. Let's see if I can get anywhere near finishing this shit. Putin farted in the lift. Now, right, see if see if Putin did fart in a lift, or he did have cancer. He wouldn't tell people because he's a leader, and right now what he's going through, he has to portray himself as a strong leader and all that. So for Sky News Australia to rock up and start telling me the fucking most intimate secrets about Putin's health, I suspect it might be bullshit. Call me skeptical. Call me skeptical with the spectacles, even though sunglasses. I smell a fart. I don't like it. Do you think any of our politicians are transsexual? Who fucking cares? What we should do, we should sign in law the Crocodile Dundee technique, where you can stand at the doors of Parliament like, okay, cough, okay, cough, okay, cough. So aye, Crocodile Dundee technique. Let's hear about Putin having cancer. Oh, I know it's real with this music. Nothing says propaganda like fucking music for neighbours. Music for a target scene of murder or some shit. Well, I doubt RT's reporting this, whether it's true or not. I think you've got to be very naive to just blindly believe this. But the amount of people that will go around and parrot this shit. I mean, for example, if I was to find myself in the boozer and somebody turned around to me, oh, did you hear Putin had cancer? I wouldn't turn around and fucking argue and go, but I'd go, oh, aye, really? What about the Rangers? Moving on. Well, mate, this is propaganda 101. Paint them as weak. I mean, look at the way Trump destroyed Hillary Clinton by painting her as like a, I don't know, like finding pictures of her falling over and all that kind of shit. Look at the way they're destroying Biden as well. I even repeated some of the fucking anti-Biden shit at the top of my show because it was fucking hilarious. Came from Sky News Australia as well. And it was that woman just laughing at Biden fucking up. But you need to remember, man, these people pretty much have a camera on them 24/7. See, if you had a camera on yourself 24/7, there'd be lots of footage out there of you fucking up. So you do need to get some perspective. But it doesn't detract from the fucking hilarity of Biden being a fucking senile old fuck. Nancy Pelosi isn't much better as well. Right, anyway, let's listen to the intense music. Listen, folks, I will be the bearer of good news. RT is not cancelled. If you Google RT in the UK without using a VPN, you'll get this link. And click on it. It'll give you RT. Live. There's RT there. Cancelled, baby. They've just been pulled off the boob tubes. But they're on the Rumble and they're on the Odyssey. Like all good right-wing citizen.
And I'm sorry to say, my friends in the media have completely suspended belief in their reporting.
Let's talk about China because you mentioned in one of your articles that
RT do have the hottest presenters, don't they? But something about that. Something about that domineering Russian airs when we can come to take our clothes off and lie on the bed. No! Okay! Just don't tell Putin! Oh man, listen to the music. I don't know about you, I wasn't convinced Putin had cancer until this music kicked in. That music, it's defo cancer music. Right, okay, I think we can safely call bullcrap on that, man. Oh, I'm surprised they didn't say he's got a secret lair or some shit, man. Putin cancer. Don't let me. So this is let's see. New York Post. Now, see, to the untrained eye, people will believe that's a reliable source. But they're getting the New York Post mixed up with the New York Times. It's not by accident, I would argue, but anywho. Putin to go for surgery. And he's going to leave the villain or something in control. Daily Mail, The Mirror, India Today, Maraca. So all the most reliable of sources. Factor fiction 9 hours ago. Right. Well, we all know the truth relies on the YouTube.
A propaganda video filmed in April of 1945 showed the German dictator Adolf Hitler
my haircut's fucking not like fucking Hitler's.
Decorating members of the youth wing who had been called up to defend Berlin.
Fuck all like Hitler's.
How Hitler was still in command, even as the Soviet Union's troops were closing in on the capital Berlin. But a telling part of that footage was cut from the final version and was supposed to have been destroyed. The cut portion, which was discovered much later, in the 1970s, it was found in an East German film laboratory. Now, what is special about this particular footage was that the Nazi leader's left hand is seen shaking violently as he holds it behind his back while greeting the military officers of the youth wing. Now, many historians and experts believe that Hitler was suffering from Parkinson's disease at the time that this video was filmed.
Oh, fuck, guys.
Parkinson's hampers muscle control and impairs mobility. A person basically has no control over involuntary behavior, and handshaking is a classic sign of it. Surviving records later show how Hitler's personal doctor, Theodor Morell, had first noted Hitler's left hand shaking back in 1941, but he put it down to stress. And then in the final days of the war in 1945, the doctor basically concluded that Hitler was suffering from what was then called shaking palsy. That was the original name for Parkinson's disease. Days later, Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. On Crux Decode this week, there is renewed focus on Russian President Vladimir Putin and in particular his health as he gets on with the special military operation in Ukraine. The British newspaper, the Daily Mail, is reporting that Vladimir Putin may be forced to give up control of the war in Ukraine for a few days as he is to undergo cancer surgery. The Russian president will reportedly nominate hardline Security Council head and ex-FSB chief Nikolai Patrushev to take control of the country while Putin goes under the surgeon's table. Patrushev is seen as one of the key architects of the Ukraine war so far. In fact, both Putin and Patrushev go a long way. They were colleagues together in the KGB, which is the predecessor to the FSB. And around the time when Putin became president...
So there's no evidence of him having cancer, it's just the Daily Mail reported it, so as so. Not that they could be influenced by any outside sources or anything like that at all. Just gospel, they know the truth. Look at Daily Mail. They've got one of the most successful online outlets when it comes to British press. Anywho, let's have a look at Fadge TV.
So for 11 days in a row, the little boats did not cross the English
pardon
Channel.
me, sorry.
Led to many people, particularly conservative commentators on radio, television, and in the newspaper saying, look, it's happened. Rwanda has worked. It's acted as a deterrent. Now, I was shaking my head at this thinking, these guys don't get it. For those 11 days, a persistent northeasterly wind blew in the
We have some big-time developments in terms of what's going on in subspace, as we have word now that Russia has just launched this secret payload.
We have big time developments as a response to like subspace, man. Big time developments. Remember, I'm the dude that can't comprehend how a rocket or a plane can be traveling towards me, but look like it's traveling up. That's right, folks. I was once reporting on a rocket and couldn't understand how it could be going up or towards me and look the same. I had no idea, man, because I'm just a finger on the pulse, finger on the button. Daboo, yabba dabba doo 7. I love this guy because basically I think what happens is he must have some sort of Twitter or something and people send him links and he just bukakis them on the YouTubes. Yeah, live from space. We've got our spaceman live from space. Now, these things sound brilliant and fascinating and very compelling and all that, until you actually go and look into them and look at the sources and where they're actually getting their information from. And it's non-existent. It's literally non-existent. It's a wee coincidence or a wee quinky-dink or some sort of a misspoken sentence took out of context one, like a couple of words or something, and they spin and spew all forms of shite and drivel, backed up by sweet Fanny Adams, sweet fuck all. And Yabba Dabba Do 7 is fucking beautiful at it. Russia launches secret military payload into orbit, so secret that we've got it in the fucking interwebs. Yabba Dabba Do 7's reporting on Russian military secrets.
Up into space, and this is following the reports that we've seen here in the past couple weeks of SpaceX basically working with the U.S. military to counter Russia.
Basically.
And we come to find out that SpaceX has shut down an electromagnetic attack that was taking place.
Sounds great, or not?
And they apparently switched up the code on them rather quickly and changed some things up and made it to where their electromagnetic warfare attack did not work.
And I heard reports say Iron Man then came in, shot down the bogies. Then the American Patriot came in, shot down more bad guys. It's real! It's real! I seen it on TV.
They go on to state that
I don't know if this guy's a real Fruit Loop, and he believes the shit he spews, or he's just addicted to the clicks and hits and money.
We're expecting a bigger response from Russia, that they were going to hit harder. But they also state that it could have just been kind of a test, kind of a feeler, to see where things sit out there.
Yeah, it could be. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda, up to, maybe. Oh, look at my sources. And remember, folks, Indigenous people's rights are respected round the world. Corporate mine. And they're getting tear gassed out by the looks of things. Somebody needs to explain camouflage to these folks. See, next time you're fighting with the authorities, man, get yourself fucking out your bright pastel colour wardrobe. Freedom! Look at the camouflage, man. Oh, fucking hell, man, done in. Anyway, I just wanted to show you the respect to Indigenous people. Shit, was that temples and all that in the background there I just seen? Fuck, they're the pure places you want to go to and all that. Right, let's listen to the Vag, and then I can do the off and leave these to it. Stop boring these.
This channel. Now, it's just over 2 years since I first went out into the English Channel to try and wake people up to the fact that there was a big sign, effectively, on the White Cliffs of Dover saying, everybody is welcome, nobody will be sent back. So I've tried throughout those 2 years to bring people with me on this journey to understand the scale and magnitude of what is going on. So that's why I went back to see first thing Monday morning to show people, no, Rwanda at the moment is having no effect whatsoever. Do they know about it in the camps? You bet your life they do. One of the reasons is that Care for Calais, the refugee, as they call themselves, charity, have now launched a legal challenge against Priti Patel. So you can be sure in the camps, they're all being told, don't worry, this will go nowhere. And it was last week when pushback, remember that? The idea was they were going to turn the migrant boats back and force them back to the French shore. That had a huge amount of publicity when it was first announced. Last week, that plan was dropped. So, you know, if I was sitting in a migrant camp in Dunkirk, I'd be thinking nothing has actually changed. And what
Are you a no agenda show fan? I take it, Luton Lion.
do we have on Sunday and Monday? 550 people crossing the English Channel. And believe me, unless Rwanda is implemented very, very quickly, this government, in the opinion polls, is going to be completely overwhelmed by this crisis. There are 1 million people now on the social housing waiting list. Think 550 more bedrooms have to be found just over the course of the last couple of days. And as I speak, there are more operations going on in the English Channel. We're headed for 100,000 this year. Already the hotel bills are £5 million a day, let alone the cost of yesterday. There were RAF, planes, drones, Royal Navy, Border Force, RNLI. I hate to think what the daily operations in the Channel cost. The whole thing is out of control. Now, what I saw yesterday proved to me, though, that I do not believe the vast majority of these people are refugees in any genuine, sensible definition. What did we see yesterday? We saw, picked up on the screen, literally just under Cap Finisterre on the French coast, and I'm talking hundreds of yards off the coast, we picked up a French naval vessel called Fomentin. Looking on the screen, it was traveling at 3.9 knots. That's not very quick. That's about the speed with an outboard motor one of the migrant boats goes. So we knew another escort was on the way. Remember, I exposed the French naval escorts 2 years ago. Another French naval escort was on the way. We waited patiently for a couple of hours for that boat to get to the line where it was coming in to British waters. It was escorted literally all the way. I mean, can you imagine if you're a trafficker? You can say to people getting on the boats, don't worry, you'll be very safe. The French Navy will see you all the way across the channel and then you'll get picked up. When the boat crossed into English waters, we were right there next to it. And what was interesting was this was unlike the other boats. Most boats now are built for one journey only. They take between 35 and 40 people. They are very weak, very flimsy, dangerous construction. And that's why one sunk last year with a loss of 27 lives. And unless things change.
My opinion is similar to the abortion thing. It lies somewhere in the middle, which, if you listen to mainstream media or Nigel Farage TV or it's like, a sensible middle of the road position doesn't exist apparently anymore. You know, approaching it with a kind of like common sense without demonising individuals, but still having a fucking like some sort of a like common sense approach, and also taking other people's points of view on board. It doesn't exist anymore apparently. Apparently you're not allowed that. You're also not allowed to debate it and reach compromised position. It has to be all one way or all the other. Because if you're not on board with my position, and you're just a fucking idiot. I don't actually believe that. It's just where we're at. Political wise. Well, look, mine each to their own, mate. You believe what you believe, man. Keep on keeping on. I'll keep on keeping on from my point of view. God knows what she's... This drift too many. Anyway, everybody in the chat, thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. As I said, I've fixed my computer. It is working. So I'll be back on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. Doing Not the Infowars Nightly News. Similar to this, a wee bit of a broad spectrum of what's going on in the boob tubes. and trying to have a wee bit of shits and giggles about it with a watchful eye on all sides. Trying my best to remain partisan. Anywho, thanks for joining, everybody. If you do appreciate it, you get shits and giggles, appreciate what I do, stick a wee thumbs up. That is much appreciated. I'm doing Wag the Dog news in the afternoon. Just watch a news channel. Get the daily bump from one side or the other. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Wag the Dog news. Make sure you check it out. Sub, bail up, all that jazz. Tune in next Tuesday or tomorrow at 1 o'clock when I'll be doing the afternoon news and whatnot. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'm away to watch some Ozarks. Or Ozarks. No. Netflix series. Pretty good, man. And the new series is out, so I'm going to go chill the fuck out. Finish the rest of my pie and beans. And watch some Ozarks. Beautiful. Thanks everybody that has tuned in. Method Bright, Luton Lion, PJ, Luton Lion, Bright in the evening, mate. I don't think I've said hi to you yet. You're all good, mate. Roberto Carlos. Sorry, mate. I don't think I've said hi to you yet either. So thanks to everybody that has tuned in and got involved. Richie and the Jedi Lieutenant. K9 Magic Magnets. 248 official. Stuffer was in as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right. Let me see. Aye, I'm all done. I'm out. My moose is loose about this house. So hopefully catch you tomorrow afternoon. If not, next Tuesday. Have a good tune. You all take care. Catch you.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave. I've broken the conditioning. It doesn't work on me. I'm primitive. I'm real. I know the enemy. And if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist. Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy. Clips.